Hey everybody, here we are, week 4 of the NFL in the books. The Bears still can't figure out who they are. Dan Weeder, I'm Deion Miller from ABC7. I still can't figure out this team. And I think the energy and excitement from Nick Foles' save kind of fizzled in his first start. And here we are at 3-1. I'll take it, but I just don't feel good about 3-1. I don't think anybody can at this point.
What just happened? 7 days ago, we were sitting here talking about 2 playoff baseball teams and an undefeated NFL team on its way to the playoffs. What happened? October has gotten a little bit dark really quick.
Dan, I did the math. It was like less than 70 hours. I mean, the White Sox losing on Thursday and the Bears losing on Sunday, and here we are. I mean, it was such a buzzkill because there was so much excitement a week ago. You're right. And I'm not sure what happened with Nick Foles. He has to be better, are his words. I thought he knew this offense. I thought that, and I think that Nagy went back to a lot of things from 2019
Right.
because he wanted to see him run the offense the way it was supposed to be run. But that wasn't it. Sorry, I can hardly get it out. That was not, I don't know what we watched, but that was not it.
Yeah, I got a text from you at some point. I think it was in the third quarter, and it just said, "What was that?" And I didn't get it right when you sent it. And so I got it about 30, 40 minutes later, and I'm like, I don't even know exactly what was that she's referring to because there were so many what was that. My fear, Deion, is that we know exactly who this Bears team is. And it's an 8-8, 9-7 group that's going to beat inferior opponents, that's going to struggle against teams like the Colts that brought a really good, disciplined and sound defense to Soldier Field. And we're just going to be riding this roller coaster all the way through some big wins, some hard to stomach losses. And at the end, we're going to be staring at 8-8, 9-7, like we thought we would when the season started. Obviously, the change to Foles isn't going to produce an immediate magical surge of 30 points every week. We talked about that, but you've got to be better than they were on Sunday. You've got to have more than 28 rushing yards. You've got to score more than 11 points. And so the page turn now is really quick. I mean, you don't even have a practice this week.
I know.
To iron things out, and that's going to get really complicated.
I think I just gained 28 yards walking my dog in a dress. I understand the Colts are a good defense, but that was embarrassing. 19-11 is a gross score. That's not a football score. That's not professional football. That's Pee Wee League football. That doesn't. It's just And I went back and I looked at that first touchdown drive by I almost said the Chargers because
of Phillip Rivers
by the Colts because I wanted to see what exactly went down, right? They had him 1st and 20 twice. Yeah. Okay. Yep. The Kyle Fuller, I remember him arguing about that penalty right away. I remember seeing that right away. So they had him 3rd and 9 and this elite defense couldn't get them off the field. They end up scoring that touchdown. Now we take that, let's just say hypothetically, I love to be hypothetical armchair quarterback here, but take away that touchdown. The Bears still don't win. They still lose by 1. Like, what? How is that even real? If the defense only gives up, let's just say 4 field goals and the offense can't score more than 12 points, I'm baffled. I am baffled.
So there's a couple things here. Number one, I crunched the numbers on the defense under Matt Nagy. Since Matt Nagy got here at the start of 2018, 14 times in 37 games, the Bears defense has allowed 1 touchdown or 0 touchdowns in a game. So you talk about a luxury as a head coach of an offense to know you're not going to have to score 27, 28, 30, 34 on a regular basis to win games. Well, now you have this issue now because we spent so much time for justifiable reasons putting the magnifying glass over Mitch Trubisky. Well, now I think it's sort of a shared magnifying glass over Nick Foles, who's obviously brought in to replace Trubisky, and Matt Nagy. We've got a lot to learn about who Matt Nagy is and whether he can fix this thing offensively. Because if we get to December and we're still having conversations in year 3 about establishing a running game identity, about trying to get north of 20 points, which, oh, by the way, the Bears under Nagy have only done 15 times in 37 games. They scored more than 20. So this goes back. Remember, when John Fox got fired, we had to emphasize that John Fox's 34 losses didn't suddenly come off the resume of general manager Ryan Pace, right? And so it's the same thing here with Trubisky and Nagy. Trubisky's struggles don't just suddenly come off of the track record for Matt Nagy. And so now Matt has to prove that he is the offensive mastermind he was billed to be, and he has to prove that he can create that connection with Nick Foles that unlocks things so that you can score 24, 27, 30 on occasion and help a very good defense win football games.
Wouldn't you love to know what was going through Mitch's mind? Like I snapped a photo, like I'm looking at it right now. I snapped a photo of, I mean, can you even see that? Like, look at him. Look at him. Like what's he thinking right there, right? Like as he's watching Nick make the same mistakes he was making, the inaccuracy, inefficiency. What's going through his mind as he's standing there helpless and thinking, how is this so much better than what I was doing? It wasn't. And I think we wanted to see that because he came in with his superhero cape in the fourth quarter and he won the game and won the job. So clearly won the job. But then he looked he didn't look like he deserved that vote on Sunday. Like he didn't look like he won the job.
Right. Well, and think back to August. We watched training camp practices for a couple of weeks. We got to see a sneak preview of things for 10 to 12 days, whatever it was, and we told the world and anyone that would listen that neither one of these guys looks all that sharp. Neither one of these guys looks like they're going to lift this offense to new heights. And so that was a little bit of a snapshot on Sunday of what we saw in August. Now, listen, it's one start, and we all have to resist the temptation to over-exaggerate and overreact to the one start and give Foles the next 3 or 4 weeks to put together a body of work and see what that looks like when we go into November and see what the Bears offense is able to do to sync up their timing, to create that play caller quarterback connection that Nagy keeps talking about with Foles. They have to make improvements, but obviously right out of the gates, it leaves you with this hollow feeling because listen, Dan, this isn't a hope-filled rookie quarterback coming in where the outside world is going to have all this intrigue and patience, and they're going to live through the growing pains because they know that there might be something promising on the other end. This is a 31-year-old journeyman who's switched teams 5 times. We know what Nick Foles' ceiling is. And so there isn't that sort of intrigue and mesmerized feeling of, okay, what does this new guy can do? So the patience is going to run out really quickly. And if they lose to the Buccaneers on Thursday night and they continue to struggle offensively through the remainder of October, the outside noise is going to get really, really loud. And Matt Nagy is going to have to do something.
Especially because the outside world has to watch this Bears team and Nick Foles go through that on national television twice in a 5-day span. Like there's no hiding right now. I mean, you're going into Thursday night. This is where they have to show up. I mean, I want to see marked improvement. I want to see him being a master of this offense in a different way. I want to see what we saw in the fourth quarter against, a really bad Falcons team.
Right.
I want that kind of confidence. I want to see him run the offense that way. I want to see that from go, no feeling it out, take control of this job. Now, I went back and looked. The last time Nick Foles won a start, now granted he has been injured, was against the Bears in the post 2018. He's lost 6 consecutive starts. So what is that? Get out of that funk. Like, come on, let's figure it out, right?
Right. And at the very least, put together 2, 3, 4 drives where you say, okay, I see it coming now. I see the things progressing. At the same time, the Bears are going to have to unlock a lot of questions on offense. Their offensive line didn't block anyone in the run game on Sunday. That was a problem. I still have no idea why Anthony Miller's inconsistency is so pronounced. And every week you think, this is it. This is the breakthrough. And then the following week you think, my God, he's never going to get it. They need to find offensive playmakers. And right now it's Allen Robinson and nobody else. And that's what leads you down that path that we thought that we were going down when the season began, which is follow the 8-8 road, right? Follow the 8-8 road.
Lions and Tigers and Bears. Oh my. No, that is where they're headed. There's no question about that. And I feel for Allen Robinson. I feel that they need to invest in him now because of what he's so clearly their best offensive player that it's becoming more glaring that they're not investing in that. When he's the only consistent thing they've had, I believe. I mean, the only consistent thing that you can see.
You know me, I'm Johnny Sunshine. So we have to make sure we give some of this a positive spin. Obviously, Robinson is having a terrific year for a mediocre to bad offense and continues to do that everywhere he's been. And so you got to reward him at some point. The other thing to remember here is what we talked about after the first win and the second win and the third win, that when you're able to squeeze out those wins, it gives you a little bit of cushion. And so 3-1 is much less daunting than 2-2, and 3-2, if they lose Thursday to the Bucs, is much more comforting than 2-3. And so now they have a little bit of house money to play with. You don't want to squander it right away, but you at least have that cushion that if you can tread water here and you really believe as an offense that you're going to find your footing sooner rather than later, Well, just stay above 500, right? Make sure you get in November and December above 500. The playoffs has expanded to 7 teams in each conference this year. Just make sure you're keeping your head above water. And if you find your footing, then you can make your run, get into the playoffs, and see what kind of football you're playing, how healthy you are at that time of year. But so that I think it's very important to emphasize that those 3 wins, they don't just disappear after a terrible performance like they had Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, and the Buccaneers defense is not the Colts. I think that they can score on them, and but oh, by the way, on Sunday, Tom Brady still looks like Tom Brady, so we have to quantify that. However, I believe Nick Foles came into his folklore because he beat one Tom Brady in their one and only matchup. So I'm excited about that. I know this is not the same stage. I understand that so much. So nobody come at me, but I do also feel like there should be a level of confidence there. There should be a level of, okay, let's rely on Foles to kind of shine in a big moment where we need him to, so that people don't start to continue to think that the Bears are a faux 3-1.
What's different about the stage, Deion? There's not going to be 100,000 people. There's not going to be the
noise and let's see, fake noise. No fans. I mean, still national television, and at night, I guess
the Bear Raid siren is still blaring. I'm sure you heard it.
Blaring. It's louder than ever, right?
Right.
I'm excited to actually be in the press box. You will be too, yes?
Yes, I will be. And I got to tell you, we talked about how weird it was for me to cover that Falcons game from my basement all alone, with nobody to share any of it with, the downs, the highs, whatever else. The press box is always better. You just feel some form of connection, even though it's super weird. And I continue to take the videos of walking from the parking garage to the stadium on game day with not a single soul around. It's still so eerie and so strange. I'm never going to get used to it, but there is some sort of connection to being upstairs, getting that view, feeling how the stadium feels, and kind of getting a vibe for the night, the game, whatever it is. So yeah, I'll be there Thursday night, and it should be interesting at the very least. We'll have more evidence one way or the other to unpack and continue the trial of Nick Foles and Matt Nagy now.
Yeah, no doubt, because common denominator right now is the head coach for sure. You know what I'm excited about? No game day traffic.
All right, we will talk to you next week.
And that's what I'm excited about.
Oh, I got to tell you, it's a glorious thing to be able to get from door to door in like 35 to 40 minutes, not worry about what time you leave. It's a wonderful thing.
Magic.
See you there.